Hey everybody, welcome to Linux Cast. I'm your host, Matt.
I'm Drew.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Nate.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Linux Cast. We have a wonderful show for you planned. We took a week off for Thanksgiving. I hope, had a wonderful holiday with family, friends, and various amounts of food. And it was wonderful, but it's time to get back on the wagon, the grindstone, whatever. I lost the metaphor there halfway through. So anyways, welcome back to the Linux Cast. We are going to have a battle royale tonight. We're going to debate the best distro between Ubuntu, Debian, and Pop! OS. Now, you'll notice that there's 3 distros and there's 4 of us. That's because we needed a judge. Tyler, his job is going to be to adjudicate the entire process. Whoever wins gets a hat. If I win, I'll order me another hat. Anyways, so there you go. It's going to be fun, and I threw a little twist in it, but you guys are going to have to hold on and wait for the twist, because there's a twist there, and we're not going to let this to be too easy. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump in to the podcast, but before we jump into the main topic, we should go around and talk about what we all done the last few weeks. So, Drew, why don't you tell us what you've been up to lately?
About a week ago, in fact, exactly a week ago, I put out a video. It was entitled Year of the Linux Desktop. Really? And it got mixed comments. And I'm okay with that, you know? So beyond that, though, Thanksgiving, and then a second Thanksgiving, and then a birthday, then playing sports, and then working and Linux, and then repeat. So, but while I'm thinking about it, happy holidays to you, my podcast friends, our friends in the live chat, and our friends who are either watching or listening to the recorded podcast. So that is all.
Good stuff. All right, what about you, Tyler? It's been a while since we've seen you. What you been up to?
Well, mainly just messing around with Jellyfin. That's pretty much what I've been up to. Also playing around, like, primarily with audiobooks on Jellyfin. It's been interesting. It's quite simple, but I'm just surprised at how easy everything works, how well it works with pulling information. But that's pretty much it. I haven't really been messing around with the computer a ton. I actually, like probably a lot of people, have been roped into a lot of family stuff lately, so, haven't had much time to sit down at the computer and just nerd away, but soon.
Yeah, the holidays are only for people who don't like their families to sit at their computers and just, Yeah. So that's just the way it is. That's okay. We didn't expect somebody to, compile Gentoo during the holiday. Wait a minute. I'm sure someone did that.
That's an unfair, expectation for someone.
What'd you do during Thanksgiving? Oh, yeah. I did Linux from scratch. That's what I did.
Yeah. I saw my family for a limited 2 minutes and then went back into my room.
Well, the heat went out and I needed to provide some heat in the house, so I decided to do that instead. All right, Nate, what about you? What you been up to lately?
So during the holiday, I actually took some time and went hunting because I am a country boy. And also, I've been playing around with Debian on my T470 laptop. And I just got a docking station. So I actually have not only this system here, now I have a whole nother one right here. So I added more to, everything.
Nate needs more desk. Nate needs the desk that I just got. That's what he needs. He definitely needs some more space there.
I will say it's very cramped.
Do you have space for another one if you wanted another one? Or are you going to have to start building up?
No, I'd have to take stuff out.
Well, what about building up? Like
what about the ceiling? You got something?
Okay, so you laugh, but I actually have brackets to mount stuff to the ceiling that I could if I wanted to.
Yes, I will continue to laugh about that.
So
you should do that.
Let me ask you this question. Did you catch anything when you went hunting?
I got a doe. That's about it.
Sorry, I always use that verb because, I just imagine I'm out there with a net trying to catch them. I can't.
Come here, you dang deer.
Come back here. As you can tell, I'm not a hunter. Okay.
Hey, as long as you got camo underwear, you can call yourself a hunter.
Okay.
Really?
I kind of didn't need to know that information. All right. Let's go ahead and get started into the main topic. Wait a minute. I didn't go. I forgot myself. Mainly because I haven't done anything too much really. I will give a little preview into next week. I'm going to have to do a total reinstall of OpenSUSE. I'm having this really stupid problem, and I can't seem to figure out why it's doing it. So I do an update, and before it finishes the update, the entire system crashes into a black screen with a blinking cursor. And there's nothing in any log that I found of why it does it. There's a zipper log. I figured maybe there'd be something in there. There was nothing in the systemd logs that I could find as to why this was. I saw a couple Python crashes, like dumps or whatever, from Qtile, which would explain Qtile crashing. But it seems like if Qtile would crash, it would pop me back out to SDDM or the TTY or something. But instead, it pops me back out into this just blank screen with a blank cursor in the upper left-hand corner. And it does it every single time I update. Otherwise, the system's running fine, so I don't know what's going on there. I haven't been able to diagnose it, so I'm probably tonight I'm going to do just a complete reinstall, see if I can't get that problem fixed. I've been getting some weird errors when I boot up, and it's like AMDP state errors. I looked it up. I don't remember what I found. It doesn't seem to affect anything. I don't know if the problems are connected or not. So I have a feeling that those kind of came in when I decided I was going to switch back and forth between NVIDIA and AMD like 4 or 5 times on the same install of OpenSUSE. Probably not the best thing ever. I did do that. It seemed to have worked fine, but maybe those are the problems that I'm having. So that's what I'll be doing upcoming. But this past week has just been, whatever. Just been messing around and watching. I've tried Jellyfin like Tyler.
There is an obvious solution, and it would lend itself to a different distribution about small amount of updates. I'm just putting that out there.
No.
Very few updates.
I'm sorry. I'm the type of horrible person that when he first started talking, in my head, I was imagining the problem, and he had literally just said the problem is, and then in my head, I was like, well, the OpenSUSE logo that pops up when your computer turns on, that one, that's the problem. There we go.
Guys, OpenSUSE.
I know he's
just
got
fine.
6 or 8 months or left back on this challenge, and we'll
it would be a bloody shame for me to quit now. I mean, well over 500 days. I can make it, and OpenSUSE is still really stable. I mean, yeah, I'm having some problems, but every distro has some problems every once in a while. And the fact that this is my first big one in like 2 years, I think it's pretty impressive. So I don't know. Anyways, let's go. Now we can go ahead and go into the main topic. So, like I said, we're going to be debating the best distro. And really what we're going to try to do is we've each been assigned a distro. And the way that I did it, I was a mean bastard. And I didn't let us do the distro that we'd probably want to do. So first off, you're probably wondering, well, Matt, why didn't you assign OpenSUSE to one of us, right? I didn't want to have it be an unfair competition. OpenSUSE would have won no matter what, so I kept that out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bump.
But no, I wanted to keep it in the Ubuntu/Debian family. And I could have assigned Mint, but I'm too cruel to the Mint guys, so I kept that out of there as well. So anyways, Ubuntu, Pop! OS, and Debian. And basically what I've done is instead of assigning us the distro that we'd probably want to do, so Debian's not going to go to Mr. Drew, that went to Nate. Pop! OS isn't going to Nate, he's doing Debian, and I'm doing Pop! OS because I give Pop! OS a lot of shit. Well, mostly I give Nate a lot of shit, not the distro. So I took that one. So our quest for the evening will be to take the distro that we were assigned and try to convince the others that their distro is the best distro for them or for everybody, whatever. And it should be as comprehensive as you can make it without being, pedantic. But, so it should be an interesting thing. I'm not sure. I think probably what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and do it by distro. So who wants to go first and make their case first?
Well, I will say, as the judge/referee of all of this, everyone will be surprised at the distro that wins.
You can't make the decision before you fucking hear the competition. What are you, an NFL ref? Come on, man.
Just saying, Tyler, your hat's on the way, buddy.
Let's just say he had to keep Nix out of the conversation for a reason. I'm just kidding.
And then one of the qualifications was that it had to be a real distro. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's real.
Okay,
it's scary.
It's going to be one of those. So Nate, you said you wanted to go first.
No, I was actually pointing up to Drew.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right, Drew, you've been nominated. You can go first. Take us away, Mr. Ubuntu man.
I've actually really enjoyed my time on Ubuntu for the last 2 weeks since the assignment was made. Ubuntu got installed on my test machine. I've been using it quite a bit. You know, I am not a typical GNOME user, but this has been an interesting experience and one that I've enjoyed because right out of the box, Matt's always kind of like poo-pooed on GNOME because it's stable. And that's something I like, as just being normally a Debian user, but being a Ubuntu user over the last couple of weeks, the stability of Ubuntu has been really, really stinking good. And just the install process, when you've installed Debian a million times like me, getting to do something other than that, going into a live environment and being able to like really set some parameters for how you want the installation to work and how kind of nice it looks. It's a really great experience. It's very user-friendly. The installer is very easy to use. And then there's just a plethora of software and hardware. It's optimized for a lot of hardware and software needs. So that's what I was trying to say. But basically, the massive repository that it has and the fact that it has Snap and Flatpak already kind of built in, it's an excellent distro and everyone should be using it.
Totally agree.
Drew had so it was really unfair of you, Nate, to make Drew go first because he had the hardest. I really do think he had the hardest one, but you did a good job.
No, I'm going to win, so I don't know what you're talking about right now.
I feel like
he's got snaps on his side.
It's a rigged election is what I'm trying to think this is going to be. Like, it feels like the voter has already been paid off is what I'm trying to... All right. Nate, you want to go next?
Yeah. I will say that though sometimes the installer of Debian is not always user-friendly, it is installed very well. It has worked with, I've tested on 3 hardware systems, and they've all installed pretty well. Also, I will say it's very stable. It is known for its stability. And even though some people might say, well, it's outdated, okay, but it works. And it will actually run, unlike NixOS. Sorry. But the fact of the matter is,
you're supposed to butter the judge up, not piss him off.
I'm not going to butter the judge up, and here's the reason why. Because here's the point that I'm driving home. So many distros owe their existence to Debian, and that's just a fact. So many of them.
So your argument is...
as a matter of fact, Ubuntu and Pop! OS without Debian just wouldn't be a thing.
Man, he's pulling the heavy hitters out. He didn't try to win any brownie points with me, but he is speaking some truth.
Well, we all know my thoughts on NixOS, so I'm not going to win any points either. So, okay, so I will go next. Okay, so I have a 12-point plan, not a 12-point plan, but 12-point argument about why Pop! OS is the best distro of these 3. The first one, and this is probably my favorite one, is that it has a ISO with NVIDIA drivers built in out of the box. It is by far the best thing about Pop! OS. And not that there's not a lot of other good stuff, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, but if you use NVIDIA and you use another distro, and this is from personal experience. I love OpenSUSE, and OpenSUSE is not going to make an appearance here, but OpenSUSE, just set aside the fact that they're 2 versions old, installing them is a pain in the ass. And that's the same on Ubuntu, it's the same on Debian, it's the same on Arch. Installing those things is not a user-friendly experience. On Pop! OS, if you use NVIDIA, all you gotta do is download the right ISO, and it works out of the box. The experience is fantastic, and I think that if you're in that situation, you can't go wrong with Pop! OS. So the next one is that it's the only distro, at least the only usable distro that is really working on innovating on a desktop environment. They are actually creating their own desktop environment. Name another distro that's actually doing that. Now you could argue like Fedora's creating GNOME, but not really. I mean, GNOME's kind of separate at this point. You could say Budgie and like Solus or whatever, but those aren't connected anymore and nobody uses them. The fact that System 76 and Pop have decided they were going to create a brand new desktop environment because GNOME is utter fucking garbage, I think that deserves a win right there. The next one is that in its current state, it makes GNOME usable. Like, ignore Cosmic. It actually makes GNOME look good, function good, has tiling built in, so they've managed to make features. They have a launcher that is utterly spectacular, and it doesn't feel like a lot of times when a distro customizes GNOME to make it work better, they just say, hey, here's 5,000 extensions that other people have created, and you use those. If one of them breaks, not our fault, not our extension. All the extensions that Pop! OS uses, or at least the vast majority of them, they actually maintain. So when a new version comes out, a new version of the extension comes along with it. By the way, I'm going to win this. You guys know this, right?
Well, I didn't know you were going to take up the whole hour either. So
hey, you want to know what? If you guys had actually put the work in, you would have been able to win. Anyways, they have excellent integration with hardware because it's based on Ubuntu. I mean, Drew made that case for me. So there you go. It's based on the Ubuntu LTS, so it's stable. That takes care of the whole Debian argument. You don't need to use Debian. You can just use Pop! OS. It has all the benefits of Debian, but it's easier to install. It actually prompts the user to encrypt their drive, which I found really cool because a lot of distros will give you an option to encrypt your drive, but it's just like a little check mark and it has no explanation whatsoever on why that's a good thing to do. This has a whole page dedicated to encryption. That's good. Also, they stole that from Elementary OS, so whatever. Good stealing, I guess. They have the best installer outside of OpenSUSE, so good on that. It's really well designed. Again, stole it from Elementary OS, but whatever. It uses dark mode by default. Again, this should cause it to win like automatically. I mean, seriously, that's good. It has one of the coolest logos, so there's that. It has minimize button enabled. I think that should deserve a point. Seriously, if you ship a GNOME distro without the minimize button, you shouldn't be a distro. It's better than Debian because it's easier to install and also is traditionally more up to date than Debian. And then it's better than Ubuntu because it makes GNOME better and has a better installer and uses a non-distro specific kernel. There you go.
So I don't know about you, Drew and Nate, but to me, what this seems like is if you two were on a defense team and Matt was the prosecution, halfway into that list, you would have looked at each other and go, damn, he did his preparation way too well. His opening argument is great, but I am ready for rebuttals.
Yeah, but that's the deal. Like, I thought we was doing an introduction. I've got a whole list if we want to go down.
Oh no, we're going. We can go around. I thought you guys were just going to go. I was going to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got more?
Oh, of course.
Well, then let's go. Come on, bring it on. Come on. I already won, so it doesn't really matter. But all right, Drew, the rest of your argument, please.
Well, if there's no Ubuntu, there's no Pop! S. End of discussion.
If that's the argument, then Nate wins.
I know. But as far as hardware accessibility and the GNOME desktop, and then there's the Ubuntu Software Center, all of those things make it usable for someone who's using a Linux desktop. Okay. When it comes right down to it, Pop is good when it comes to their hardware. Okay. Their hardware works great, but Ubuntu has a lot wider hardware compatibility than Pop will ever have. And certainly Debian, when it comes right down to it, you also have Pop is more for gamers. And I think Ubuntu definitely is more general in its appeal to desktop users. And like I said, if you want snaps and flat packs and stuff like already kind of like built in and containerized, Ubuntu has it. And by the way, Ubuntu is the only one in this list that is not a community project, basically. Well, I mean, I guess Pop is kind of not a community project, but But at the same time, Ubuntu has tons and tons of money that goes into their software and the relationships that they have with hardware vendors and other software providers. So when it comes right down to incorporating software into Linux, Ubuntu is going to be at the forefront of all of those things. If Microsoft decided, you know what, who we need to partner with here, Ubuntu is going to be the top of the list. No question about it. Not to mention, as far as cloud and servers, Ubuntu has cloud and servers already built in. It has a long-term support. So if you are using them for your business, you don't have to worry about it for the next 5 years. You could just roll with their LTS, and they have the support already on lock. By the way, if it comes right down to documentation, Ubuntu wins all day long. Every single document that you're going to find on the internet is built for the Ubuntu user, basically.
So one of your arguments was that it's a corporate distro, and that's a good thing.
It is a good thing when you have that kind of money and those kind of resources. It is excellent to push, to be able to give that to the community and for business and enterprise. They're not going to want to use something that can't be supported, and Ubuntu can support their product.
This is just giving us a lot of ammunition against Debian the next time you.
I'm going to win, damn it.
He doesn't have to care who he throws under the bus. It's all right.
I can lie all I want. That's how you win elections, baby.
Well played, sir. Well played. All right. So just to argue against that, Pop! OS has all of that stuff because it's based on Ubuntu, but it takes Ubuntu and just makes it better. Now, your argument that it works better on just System 76 hardware is a blatant and false accusation with not supported by any evidence whatsoever. It works perfectly fine on any hardware that you want, and they've done a fantastic job of actually integrating other hardware vendors into some of their tools. Now, I'm going to butcher the name because you guys know that I'm horrible with names, but there's something like FWUP, Nate, help me out, the hardware updater thing. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, they have a hardware updater tool, and it doesn't just work with their hardware. It works with Lenovo, it works with Dell, it works with HP, it works with a lot of third-party stuff that will actually, when you update your system, if you have it installed, will update the firmware for that device. And it's not System 76 hardware dependent. It will work across hardware, which is great because it shows that the developers of Pop! OS don't just care about Pop! OS, they actually care about the entirety of the Linux community. And while you could argue...
They're going to support that for the next 5 years? Because I don't think so.
You never know. I mean, at least they're innovating on stuff, whereas Ubuntu has been the exact same for the last 20 years. Actually haven't changed anything about their UI.
Pop! OS hasn't changed anything in the last 2 years, easy.
I would point towards the brand new desktop environment. I may not be.
You
here
mean the
yet.
alpha? The alpha that's not available to everybody? I mean,
hey, you want to know what? At least Pop! OS has an alpha of something. Ubuntu couldn't even maintain their own desktop environment. They had to go grab someone else's to use. And Nate's like, I'm just going to sit back here and let you guys do my job for me. Well, come on, Mr. Debian. What you got to say? You got anything good to say over there?
Once again, I let the grandpa spank all these young ones and say, without Debian, y'all wouldn't exist. Secondly, also, Debian is just known for its software, free and open source software. It is just 100% known. It is. And whether you like it or not, without apt, most of the other distros wouldn't actually update. And you could also say, well, Nala is better than apt. Yeah, absolutely. But also, you know what? You can get Nala on Debian as well. So it's very good. Also, I will say 100%, to me, Debian's documentation is a lot better than ArchWiki. I'm just going to be straight up honest with that, because ArchWiki, you can get into some stuff and not know what is going on, of what they're trying to explain. And at least Debian, you sort of have an idea of what's kind of happening, and the community that's there, unlike some of the Arch people, the community is actually really good, really nice. They're helpful. And also, if you think about it, you might say, okay, well, the packages are old. Not really, because there's Flatpaks, and Flatpak's really easy to install on Debian, and it brings everything up to date, and you're good. Oh, and if you want to make the argument about hardware support, the fact of the matter is that Debian does use an older kernel means that a lot of the older hardware is also supported, unlike Ubuntu and unlike Pop! OS, because guess what? It actually has native support for that hardware. So you can take your old machines and actually install Linux, and then you ain't got to worry about, stupid Windows 11 nonsense.
I'm glad you mentioned Flatpaks, because you know what? It doesn't work right out of the box. Debian doesn't have that right out of the box. You have to do a lot of finagling to get Flatpaks to work on
Actually,
Debian.
not true, because the new update with Flatpaks is literally sudo apt install Flatpak, and then you just add your little
so you have to do two things in order for Flatpaks to work. I don't have to do that with Ubuntu.
I want to just pause right here and have a fact checked, because I don't actually believe that Ubuntu has Flatpak installed out of the box.
And Snap. It's amazing.
Okay. Hold on. I will be the fact checker here, and I've got to fact check 3 things, okay? 1, Flatpaks do come pre-set up on Ubuntu. Now, FlatHub is a different conversation. I believe it is actually set up now out of the box, but even if it's not, I do know Flatpak is available right out of the gate. Same with Snaps, obviously. Well, the second thing that I had to fact check was Debian being known for its packages, and that's not true. It actually has a lack of very many packages in their package manager, but it is very good. Let's be honest. It is.
No. Wait a minute. See, you're saying a fact check of packages, and you're trying to bring a proprietary nonsense that doesn't exist. Okay, we don't need to worry about. Listen. We're not needing to worry about all the proprietary nonsense that's happening. All you need is free and open source. And when it comes to free and open source, Debian is just there. Okay. That's all you need to worry about.
And I would like to fact check the fact checker, because if you actually do a rudimentary Google, it says that Flatpak is not pre-installed on Ubuntu 22.10. So
yes,
22.10. Yeah, who's using 22.10? I'm using 24.04.
Excuse me, 24.10. My bad.
Yeah, it's not pre-installed. As a matter of fact, actually, the only this kind of goes towards Pop! OS. But anyways, the only one that actually comes pre-installed and is actually in the store is Pop! OS. And yes, you have to do 3 things for Ubuntu in order to get Flatpaks to work.
Wait, Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time I installed Ubuntu, isn't it part of the setup process where you enable Flatpak?
No.
Actually, it's
no, it's not.
All right, well, the fact checker's thinking about a different
man.
Your Honor, I would also just like to completely put this out there that man has admitted to lying to get your vote. I'm just saying, he said it. He didn't even lie about lying. He said he was lying, okay? So everything he says, obviously, completely false. Ubuntu sucks. Use Pop! OS.
I swear, if you had yelled objection circumstantial, I would have probably laughed so hard I would have collapsed under the desk.
I'm regretting my life choices right now. That's what I am, because that definitely should have been where I went. Hearsay.
Conjecture, Your Honor.
We're using that from now on, okay? You want to object, you got to use the real words. Oh, I should have come up with that. I'm regretting my cleverness. Okay, so Pop! OS is the best because it rhymes. Okay? Wow. I mean, is there a better reason than that?
Ubuntu is junk too? I agree.
Wow. No, all right, boys. I feel like this
because there's nothing that rhymes with Debian.
But see, that's the deal. Debian doesn't need to rhyme. Debian just is. Debian is all things life. Debian is what has made Linux. Debian is the most successful distribution that has ever existed, and everybody else that wants to make everything look so fancy and nice and pretty colors, that doesn't work with Debian. Debian's like, no, I am, because I'm strong. I am there.
Debian,
I am the family lineage.
As the judge here, it is very interesting to hear the argument be made against the other two that they're just pretty colors. I like that
Okay,
argument.
here's my argument against that then. Okay, so Ford and Chevy and Buick did not invent the car. They're based on other things that came before them, but they definitely made them better. You wouldn't argue that the, earlier versions of the door or the, any earlier versions of the car is like, ooh, better because it has a crankshaft on the front end of it, It's not good just because it's old doesn't necessarily make it good. The young kids sometimes have to take the old shit and bring it in and modernize it and actually make it good and usable. And sure, we wouldn't be around if Debian hadn't actually come through and paved the way and made, Linux what it is today. But we got it from here, Gramps. We'll make it better. And, it's going to be really, really good. You guys can just go have a happy retirement.
So since you want to use the car argument, have you driven these modern cars that, look so fancy and they have this aluminum body frame, and as soon as you hit something, it's just completely totaled and gone? Yeah, that doesn't work for me. The fact of the matter is, I have the old tank that's made of real steel that is just going to keep on trucking. You hit that thing, you're dead. I'm sorry.
Just good luck getting parts
Debian
for it because
great.
They don't make them anymore. Hopefully you really like to rebuild the stuff yourself because, otherwise you're screwed because you're going to be stranded outside.
Yeah, but you can fix it with the hammer. It doesn't need anything else.
Papa West doesn't have the community that Ubuntu has. Ubuntu, it's just rich ecosystem and the most active community in the Linux world, period.
This is true.
No, I think I'm going to take a little bit of what you said and say that unlike Debian, at least there ain't like 40 different million things out there on the internet when you try to look up for a problem for Ubuntu and it's like 16 years old, but nobody has the time to remove it because they don't want to, they're too lazy. And then you get into this, well, this doesn't work. Well, this PPA just completely destroyed my system and this done this and this done this, Well, okay, Debian, you say there's support, but yet the fact of the matter is a lot of the support is so old that it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, Debian's a server distro anyway. It doesn't matter because I can't even say that with a straight face.
I love this because there's one person over here who has already said, doesn't matter, I've won. And the two other people who are supposed to be competing for number one are taking turns stabbing each other.
I'm saying I won because the fact of the matter is, without Debian.
I think throughout the conversation, each of us have already claimed victory, but I don't think that's the way that it's supposed to work because we all know.
Hey, Tyler, remember I used to edit for you, just FYI.
Yeah, no one. You don't have to worry about doing that again because he doesn't know how to do videos anymore. He probably doesn't remember his password.
Look, it's been made abundantly clear. No one at all this entire time is interested in greasing me up for a win because no one said anything about NixOS being good. So that offer's off the table.
Hey, wait. On that argument, NixOS is known for one thing, right? Stability. Congratulations. You are the same as Debian.
I mean,
my mouth is open in shock at the blatant and horrendous corruption going on in this courtroom.
Hey, Drew said it was politics, okay?
It's all about winning, baby.
So, I don't think there's anything to fact check here recently.
Let's, before we go on, are there any other arguments that we want to make between the three of us? And then we'll go around and do a closing argument type thing, if you want. Just
as much as we made up, I don't have any more.
I've emptied both barrels at this point.
Well, I have some, so if you all want to stay quiet.
Go ahead, Matt, because whatever you say is easily refutable. So go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you've heard here today is a collection of lies, fabrications, and utter fucking nonsense. These other two gentlemen, if you want to call them that, have come to you with distros that no one in their right mind should use. Both of them should be put out to pasture. Neither one of them have innovated shit in years. They shouldn't still be in existence. Pop! OS, brand new. It's working on modern hardware, okay? It also has innovations in software, in hardware support, and software for hardware support. It has a great community. Sure, it's not the biggest community, but you want to know what? Size doesn't matter. That's what they tell me anyways. Size doesn't matter. It's great. It's a shut up. It's you're not supposed to make me laugh during my own closing arguments. God damn it. It's a great distro, and those other two hooligans will try to convince you that just because they're either the most used or the oldest, somehow that makes them the best. Please. That's their only argument to existence. Oh, most people use this. Well, you want to know what? In 2008, that was a great argument because the rest of Linux sucked. And you want to know what was around in 2008? Debian. Ubuntu beats Debian. You're right, Drew. Ubuntu is better than Debian. It's just, that's the way it is. But new kids in town, and these fools have nothing of legitimate sustenance to offer you guys in terms of legitimate arguments. So use Pop! OS. It's absolutely the best. And anyone who says otherwise doesn't know how to use Linux. Mic drop.
The salesman turned lawyer is doing a great job right now. But closing arguments, Drew, hit me with them.
It's interesting when someone puts all their eggs in one basket and says that whatever provided them this type of framework is what they've done with it is better than what, than the originating source. Pop! OS has got way too little. I know what's Pop! OS got way too little community to be a viable resource for like enterprise. They definitely don't have the server experience that Ubuntu has. Ubuntu server is probably the biggest, most popular server distribution in the world. And likely because it's easy, secure, and the documentation that they have for that is beyond reproach. So what they've done is not just have that, but they've translated all of these unbelievable factors and put them in the desktop as well. I can tell you one thing, the GNOME experience that I've had with Ubuntu over the last couple of weeks with my ultra wide monitor and the left bar and the menu system on the left side is fan-frickin-tastic and super, super stable. Not to mention, by the way, snaps are definitely something that's underrated. But, it is sandboxed, it is containerized, and not to mention, Matt, if you want your Vivaldi, it's really easy to install your stinking Vivaldi in Ubuntu. All you have to do is go one click, and the snap package will then install that Vivaldi for you. It's very, very good when it comes to documentation. It has the Ubuntu wiki, and it incorporates all the man pages and puts them in one very easy resource for desktop users. They win across the board, period.
Drew, did you see chat?
No, I have not.
You need to before you're finished.
No, he's finished and you need to stop helping him. Okay? Otherwise, I demand a retrial.
Fine. We'll just move on.
The judge is in the freaking YouTube chat helping the old Ubuntu guy over there. It's horrendous. Nate,
okay,
this is
Sorry.
BS. We're being usurped by the judge.
No.
I don't know who that zany is, but he's freaking spot on.
Anyway, Nate, your closing argument.
So, here's my closing argument. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to present the most stable distro that has ever been. It doesn't need separate ISOs to be a server on one side and a desktop on another side. It can just do it on its own, by itself. Just needs one ISO. That's it. Also, unlike Ubuntu, you talked about the desktop environment, but it's interesting the fact that Ubuntu breaks if you get away from GNOME, and Pop! OS, you try to install another different type of desktop environment, it's going to have some issues, speaking from experience. And so the fact of the matter is that no matter what you do, you have things like GNOME and KDE and XFCE, and all those things are available. And then you get into the fact that Debian can also do window managers, and it's great, and it works. And it's interesting how the Ubuntu guy is making an argument, though he makes videos about how awesome it is to do a tiling window manager on
I don't have
Debian.
any idea what you're talking about.
whether you want to look at the evidence here, I will also say, it's like all the new kids that claim that, oh, you owe me something. Well, the fact of the matter is you owe Debian a great deal of respect, because without Debian, y'all just wouldn't be here. And secondly, also, when it comes to actual hardware support, the fact that it takes older systems and allows you to update them. I don't have the elitist attitude. I don't have this, oh, well, look at my fancy hardware. No, I take the budget things and I look at it and say, you know what? I think I can make this work. I think I can build something upon this. And, and besides all of that, Debian is cheaper than Ubuntu and Pop! OS. It's just a fact. Thank you.
I do like the appeal to emotion there.
All right. We need to ask the judge, do you need to step out into chambers before you make your decision, or do you want to?
Yes.
Okay. You make
He's going to the bathroom.
Absolutely.
you go to your constitutional.
All right. I have deliberated on this for a minute now. And while Debian's argument was extremely compelling, and to your credit, Nate, I must say, the soothing and calm voice really did help. I did feel like you made a strong case. I am sorry, but I just can't vote in your direction. It would be in bad faith. I mean, you did try to grease me up, so it would be wrong.
Basically, politics don't work.
That clip will be cut out of here and used somewhere else. 100%. I already know that. But Drew, you made a very compelling argument. So did Matt. Matt made a very compelling argument. I feel like, though, Matt feels like he's going to win too much.
Overconfidence is going to kill me.
Yes, it definitely can. I will say, though, it is sad. I wish I could have gone in Debian's direction, only because there was so much ammo for Ubuntu and Pop! OS both being enterprise or more corporate distros. There was a lot of ammo that I could have went in Debian's direction with to use against both Canonical and Pop! OS. Primarily Canonical, but oddly enough, not much of that ammo is used there.
No, I said free and open source software. Thank you. I don't need the proprietary nonsense.
Judge, the trial's
I have the
over.
community.
It is over. It is over. And I am judging in Pop! OS's favor. However, I do not like that the Pop! OS, I guess, what would you call it? I wouldn't, you can't all be defendants. Someone's got to be a prosecutor. I'm going to assume that's you, Matt. You're way too confident, but I'm voting in your direction.
I'm Harvey Specter, bitches.
Drew made a very compelling argument for Ubuntu. The
Made
only
applause.
thing, it genuinely would have swung me the other way if you started arguing that Pop! OS was too unethical and didn't give Matt an opportunity to come back. I would have totally voted.
I guess I don't know enough about that side distro that uses Ubuntu. I just don't know about it.
He wanted you to use that argument because Ubuntu is so corrupt, but I had already gone, so I couldn't have actually argued against it.
Exactly.
So that's the reason why, because of the irony there. That's the reason why he would have won.
I would have given it to you in a heartbeat if you did that. No questions asked. Done. It's yours.
I can't believe I won. Thank you.
So I do. So okay. So
I was
we're
secretly
done, right?
pulling for Nate the entire time. I'm just saying.
I think we knew that, Nate. I think we knew that, Drew.
Hey, okay. Since we're done, and the judge is biased, but the fact that The fact of the matter is, what's interesting is I messaged Matt and said, hey, you're not even talking about the great thing that Pop! OS has, which is that it can actually do a refresh of the install like Windows. You literally just pop it in.
I wanted to win on an honest basis, unlike you guys. So I didn't use outside sources. Okay, I did my own research and my own arguments. I didn't need anybody else's help. Thank you very much, and I won.
Hey, I will say, screw Ubuntu because I don't care about Ubuntu. But Drew, honestly, Debian has been almost like a refresher for me of actually just going back to the basics and using Linux as Linux.
Yeah,
and I've actually enjoyed it. It was actually really nice.
I appreciate that. So, by the way, let's do a quick poll in the chat. If you are Pop! OS 1, put a 1. If Debian 1, put a 2. And if Ubuntu 1, put a 3 in the chat. I'm just curious.
Can you do a poll on YouTube? I don't know if you can or not.
Actually, yeah, I can. Give me a second. I'll get that up for you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought that would be the quick way.
Yeah, I know. This will be official. They actually can count.
Okay.
All right, Zany. Now I'm the judge. Convince me why NixOS is better.
Well, it's kind of easy. Like, you have the largest package repository in existence. It's rock solid stable, and you can do pretty much every single thing another actually, no, you can't do every single thing another distribution can on NixOS. Like, if you decide tomorrow that you're like, screw it, I want a mutable file system or, whatever, you can just toggle an option in a file. Done. Also, by the way, if you wanted to, like, let's say you wanted to install Nix on another computer in your house and you wanted exactly the same system you had now. All of the software, all of the same files, everything. You could have one file that immediately does.
I would like to remind the chat that you're supposed to be voting on the arguments of the lawyers here in the room.
It's too late, dude. It's too late.
Not on the whole, what you prefer. I'm really glad that I didn't have the chat be the jury, okay? Because that would have been horrible. They would have, I like Debian the best. Of course, who cares what you other have to say?
Well, just the people understand. It's the people. It's the will of the people.
Yeah, you're taking this win, aren't you, Nate? That's the only way you were going to win, by having a bunch of bias.
Debian is the People's Choice Awards.
Okay. First off, guys, I have to say that was the most fun I've had in a podcast in a long time. That was highly entertaining.
Now we need to go all repent for lying.
Okay, so last time we did Defend of the Indefensibles, just me and Tyler. We did KD versus Gnome, and at the end of that, when we posted that, people were like, "You could just." They were taking us way too seriously. Okay, so I wanted to put this at the end so that people could actually take the beginning seriously, or at least somewhat seriously. But just to know, Drew is a diehard Debian user, okay? Nate is a diehard Pop! OS user. Both of them, that's their ride or die. Yes, Nate, for some odd reason, has Arch in the background. Like, what are you doing, man? You're supposed to be. You could have had a Debian logo back there. Yeah, I mean, you could have had advertising in the background the entire time.
Done.
It's right now, man. You can't influence it now. And anyway, so everything that we said here, there is no best distro. None of us think that the distros that we're using are the best for everyone. And none of us would argue. Shut up, Tyler. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. Nobody here is arguing that Pop! OS or Ubuntu or Debian, and really not Nix, because Nix isn't a distro.
It is. It's the best one.
It's definitely not. None of us are arguing that it's the best one for everyone. So if you take that as what we're arguing, you've missed the entire point of this. It was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be Defend the Indefensible. I personally, honestly, guys, I think we all did a very good job considering how disorganized I actually had it, because I didn't even think about having it be like, because first of all, I didn't know Tyler was going to be here. So if we know,
I told you last week. I was going to be here.
I knew today, but it doesn't excuse it. I should have realized that having a judge and then having us actually pretend to be lawyers would have been awesome. We could have used the objection thing and all that. That would have been great. But I'm not that clever. Also, Debian fucking won by a landslide. The chat poll. Thanks for coming in second place, Ubuntu. You suck. Apparently, I don't think, Drew, that you need to take that personally. I just think people hate Debian.
Listen, I know exactly what happened here in this poll. People are like, Ubuntu, fuck that, man.
Well, like you were given an uphill battle from the start. You have Debian, which is going to be like on the more stable, like less cruff side, and then Pop OS, which has more than Ubuntu does, extra touches on top of it, some like a lot of similarities with Ubuntu, and then you've got to defend Ubuntu. That's right in the middle. That's hard.
Yeah, Matt even gave me credit for it being the hardest to defend.
Yeah, I felt really bad giving you Ubuntu, but I was like, I'm not doing it, so it has got to be you.
I think if we do it again, I think we should do like distros that none of us have really touched that much. And I am not getting NixOS. Just 100%.
We won't do one where NixOS because Tyler would have used it, so it wouldn't be fair. So I do agree using ones where we haven't used it before, but we don't want to go too far off into the weeds where it's like Hannah Montana or some random one-person distro, something meant to
Simple OS.
Yeah, we do all the weird ones. So like Nate's gonna get Rebecca OS, and then Tyler, you can have Hannah Montana, and just do that. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys had fun with that, and includes you three and everyone in the chat, everyone who's listening. That was a lot of fun, and we will do it again, but we won't do it for a while. Cramming it in would just make it not as fun. So maybe next year around the holidays we'll do it again. So that was very entertaining. But we still have one more piece of the podcast to go. It's like the best part of Thanksgiving. It's the piece of pie that everyone fights over because they didn't just make enough of it. It's the Nuggies pie. God, that just sounds. So, yeah.
Just put some barbecue on sauce on top.
Oh, come on, hot man! Everybody knows that hot mustard is the best. Anyways,
hot mustard or barbecue on a pie. I'm out. Like I'm walking out of the house.
Anyways, the Nuggies of the week. These are our picks, tricks, whatever. They don't have to be the same thing every week, so you choose whatever you want. Basically, there are things that we've discovered that we'd like to share with you guys, so we have Nuggies of the week to share. So Drew, do you have a Nuggie of the week for us?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I installed when I was on Ubuntu was apostrophe. And granted, I've used apostrophe sometimes on Debian, but it's an older version, and I really liked the newer version of apostrophe. Trying it out because they have this little bottom bar here. So it's very easy to add certain things, including tables, to your markdown file. So the new version of apostrophe is something that I will probably install via Flatpak on Debian. I just didn't realize how good it was prior. So apostrophe, the markdown text editor, excellent.
It is a good one. Nate, your Nuggie of the week.
So I'm going to do another hardware one. I've been using this company called Team Group for RAM and SSDs. And no, it's not as great as Samsung, and no, it's not as great as Crucial, and no, it's not as great as, G-Skill or whatever when it comes to speeds and the fancy lights and stuff. But Team Group has been very solid for me as far as just getting an SSD in an old system and getting some RAM. They still sell DDR3, SODIMM, and also full size. They have a great process on DDR4, and so far they've been the best as far as pricing on DDR5. So it's something I've been using, and I've been putting it into customers' PCs, and I've not really had any issues with them. So they seem to be a pretty solid choice. So if you ever look them up, it's Team Group. And they also, speaking of, they also actually sell a bunch of the USB drives, and you can get a crazy amount of stuff for like 100. So it's 128 gigabytes and 256 gigabytes USB drives, and they're decently fast. So I say look them up.
Cool. What about you, Tyler? You got a Nuggie of the week for us?
Yes, mine would I've been messing around with Jellyfin primarily lately, but I would also say if anyone like has the interest in doing more with their Jellyfin other than just movies, TV shows, Jellyfin's got great documentation on how to add books and audiobooks there. It works very nice, very great. Would definitely recommend checking it out. But also when it comes to Jellyfin, just in case anyone doesn't know this and wants to like start doing their own like in-home streaming stuff, save money, what for whatever reason, Jellyfin does have, there is a repo that you can find for Samsung TVs. And so on your computer, you can wirelessly connect to the TV, deploy the Jellyfin package to the TV. It's got very simple instructions. Like it's pretty much anybody could do it. It's very simple. But if you're like me and have Samsung TVs and you might want to deploy Jellyfin to them, it's not that hard. I will say I've had some hiccups with some, but I'm going to chalk that up to like my weird internet situation rather than the TVs aren't working. So
cool. All right, so I'm gonna go against the grain a little bit. Mine is not technology or Linux related at all. It's actually a podcast. It's called History That Doesn't Suck. It is a phenomenal podcast. Like, so I've wanted to do a history podcast forever. Like, for those of you guys who don't know, my degree is in history. I have most of a master's degree in history. I ran out of money eventually, but so, and I work for a historical magazine. That's what I do for my day job. But I've wanted to create a podcast for a long time. The History That Doesn't Suck podcast has made me rethink it completely. I know I can't do that good of a job, so it's kind of scared me away. It is so good. It's very well scripted, very well produced. The host of it just can bring you into the history of it, and they have like 400 or 500 episodes of it. It's just so very good. It does tend to lean American history, so if you're anti-American or if you're not really interested in American history, this is probably not for you. But if you like history podcasts, History That Doesn't Suck is just phenomenal. It's one of the best that I've ever listened to. It's just so very, very good. So you should definitely check it out. So I know, not Linux related, but I wanted to use it anyways. In my podcast, I can make the rules. There you go. All right. There you go. That is the podcast for this time. Like I said, fantastic, guys. Just really, really good. So much fun. If you guys would like to contact us, you can do so in any number of ways. The best way is email, and that's email@thelinuxcast.org. If you need to get in contact with an individual host, you can just send it to that email address, and I'll forward it on to them. It's the easiest way to go about it. If you want to get in contact with Drew, he has a YouTube channel. He is Just a Guy Linux on YouTube. He does Debian and window managers and Nextcloud and self-hosting, all sorts of awesome videos. You should definitely check him out. Tyler has a YouTube channel. Nobody watches it.
I mean, there's not anything new coming out, so.
No, really. You should go check out his old stuff if you're into OpenBSD. It was OpenBSD, right? OpenBSD or game development. He has a lot of videos up like that. He's youtube.com/ZanyOG. Whether or not he ever makes a video again, time will tell.
Totally up in the air.
Yeah, we'll maybe eventually. We'll see that. And Mr. Nate also has a YouTube channel. He is at, good Lord, Nate, you need a better name. You are Nate Picks Tech World. Mm-hmm. Okay, see, I had a week off and completely forgot it, but I remembered it anyways. So he's at youtube.com/Nate Picks Tech World. And he too, if he remembers his YouTube password, will actually upload another video one of these days. It seems like the top half of this podcast is pulling all the weight when it comes to actually uploading YouTube videos. You other two need to chop. What are you doing? How are you supposed to become Mr. V? I promised the world, Nate, when you made your first video that you were going to be the next Mr. Beast. You can't do that if you don't upload videos. I'm just saying. Pressure.
Right. Mr. Beast also started with money.
I know.
I'm starting down here.
Hey, you want to know what? I'm just hearing excuses.
No, actually, honestly, I do plan on having a video coming out hopefully Saturday. If not, it'll be next Monday, just because holidays and school.
Work and stuff.
That's been my biggest things.
I understand. I'm not. Trust me, if there's anybody to give cruft about not uploading videos, it's the man on the window next to you. And anyways, subscribe to all their channels. Subscribe to LinuxCast, youtube.com/LinuxCast. We record this live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. But there's just 2 more episodes this year. 2! That's all we got. And then we'll be off for a little while before we come back in 2025 to kick some ass. So if you want to watch live, you can do so, youtube.com/LinuxCast. If you can't catch it live, the recorded version comes out Saturday evenings, edited by Mr. Nate there. He does an awesome job making this actually sound really, really good. So if you can't catch it live, the audio is actually better on the one that comes out on Saturday. So check that out. Also, Drew would make me want to actually do this. He'd come up with this idea where we just plug the lug every single episode. So every month we do 2 lugs, and that's, for those of you who don't know what that means, that's a Linux user group. Basically, we just invite everyone over to our Jitsi. We talk about a topic for a couple hours, and it's awesome. Anyone can join. If you don't have a microphone, you don't have to participate with a voice. You can just listen along, or you can watch us live. We do stream it. And that the first one is early. The second one is late. You should join the Discord for actual time information, because this month's going to be a little funky because we're moving the second one earlier, I believe, is where we're going to go. We will have 2 this month instead of just 1 like we did last month, but it won't be on the second Thursday this month. We're moving it earlier because of Christmas and all the holidays and stuff. So join the Discord, join the lug group or whatever on there with the during your sign up on Discord, you can join the lug notifications or whatever, and that's where you'll be able to find all the announcements and stuff for that. So join us for the lug if you want to. Anyways, that's it for this one. We had a wonderful time. I hope you guys had an excellent time too. We'll see you next time.